Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm your host Jamie and I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thanks for tuning in. The theme of this episode is relationship problems with updates, so let's get into it. The title of the first story is, Am I overreacting thinking about breaking up with my fiance due to how he treats my special needs sister? I would like to know if I'm being overdramatic or overreacting. I'm 29 years old and my fiance is also 29. We've known each other since 2015 because he attends the same religious church as me. We started dating in 2022. He proposed to me in February of this year. We have plans to get married in October. He's an only child and I have one little sister who has some special needs. With me being an only sibling to my little sister who is 19. If something were to happen to my parents and when they can no longer care for her, she'll be living with me. She's not severely disabled. She has Down syndrome and a low IQ. She's very independent, though. She can walk, talk, eat, shop, do a lot of life skills on her own with minimal assistance. She's just very vulnerable and isn't aware of safety. My fiancé is fully aware of the circumstances regarding our future and has accepted her living with us. It becomes a topic a lot since we're also considering having our own kids. So, not all of the time, but sometimes when my fiance and I go out, I include my sister. I do respite for my sister, and I get paid to do respite for her. Again, my fiance has always been acceptable with me, including her, when we hang out. We went out yesterday, and I included my sister. My whole night felt ruined because of him. We went out to eat, and my sister was trying to order. He kept rushing her when she was stuttering a little bit. I didn't make a scene and kept silent due to not wanting to make a scene. We went to the mall next to go shop at my sister and I's favorite store. My fiancé stayed out of the store, which was fine because this store is aimed towards women. When we got done with shopping and my little sister was showing him what she got, he didn't say anything and didn't even show any interest. I confronted him a bit and he made a rude remark saying, quote, "God forbid me not caring about your sister's fragrances." Our last stop was Target. I had to get some things and I had my sister help with scanning things. He seemed annoyed and told me that, quote, "She needs to speed things up because this is awkward." Mind you, there wasn't even a line and multiple self-checkouts were open. When he dropped me off at home yesterday, I didn't even say anything. As much as I want us to grow together, I can't be with someone who belittles my sister. Do I have the right to be upset? I'm sorry, this would be an immediate breakup for me. Immediate breakup. Thinking of spending the rest of your life with someone who's just so awful, like even if you are annoyed, which it's fine to get annoyed sometimes. You know, in life you're gonna get annoyed and it's fine to get like frustrated and annoyed, but to be vocal about it and to like make it known that you're annoyed or even to like patronize the little sister is actually crazy work. I could never even imagine being around someone like that. Like, just keep it inside. If you're annoyed, if you're frustrated, whatever, keep it inside your head and like, talk, like, you know, I don't know, be a fucking human being and realize that there are reasons that this is happening and that she's doing things the way that she's doing. And there just needs to be extra grace and extra patience given to someone who has Down syndrome and who has special needs. Like, is it that hard to be fucking empathetic? Okay, some of the comments. I'm confused about what was awkward at Target. Her in general, her speed while checking items or lack thereof. Either way, I'd be offended and feel protective of her because I can't see his perspective about either being valid. I'm sorry he was mean to you and toward her. The term red flag exists for this reason. Continue the engagement, but be very aware of how and what he says. If you continue to see red flags, make the choice sooner rather than later. OOP said, I was having her scan items because it's a goal she works on since she gets state services for her intellectual disability. We had a full cart and it was taking a little longer than usual to finish because she would accidentally scan something twice, so the staff was kind of hanging close around us in case we needed assistance. I think he low-key feels embarrassed just by her presence and feels like we're being stared at. Well, if those people are actually staring at you, they can fuck off. Point blank. All right, there's an update 5 days later. After posting my original post, reading most of the comments, and doing deep thinking, I've decided to cut ties with him last Sunday. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do because we've had our future planned out and he was my first relationship. Family will always come first for me, and I'm not going to be with someone who is an ableist, especially when him and I can end up with a disabled child someday because muscular dystrophy does run in my family. As far as my future, I'm a pediatric RN, so I'm going to keep focusing on my career. I have a savings account set up, so I'm planning on applying for an apartment very soon. I'm also going on a Bohemian cruise in October that was supposed to be our honeymoon, but I'll be going with my best friend instead, so I'm ecstatic for that. I'm going to keep living my life as best as I can and not dwell over a relationship that obviously wasn't meant to be. For the few people who made comments such as that, quote, I'm going to end up single because no one wants the package that I come with, just know that I see the ableism in you and you might want to humble yourselves because anyone can become disabled respectfully. That's crazy. I get people commenting that because of course there's going to be fucking actual, because you always think, oh, well, and maybe a post like this, no one's going to comment rude comments, but literally it doesn't matter. The world is so fucked that it can be a post like this and people will still have negative things to say about it and they will just be absolute fuckwits. And it's really crazy to me, but I always say I get it. I don't get it, obviously, but I'm not surprised is what I really meant to say. Like, I'm not surprised that someone would comment something rude like that on a post like this. That is just not, especially like being online. People comment on my videos sometimes, comments that are just like so out of, like, why'd you even have to comment that? Why would you even like take time out of your day to comment something if you hate it so much? Like, you truly loathe me so much that you had to leave a comment and let me know. And it's just so insane. And it will be over sometimes like the littlest of things. And it's crazy because it's like, are you okay? Like, genuinely. Are you okay up there? I would, even if like I don't have a disabled sibling, obviously, but I don't even know how what I'm saying right now. I would rather be with someone who would accept me no matter what and accept anything that I come with and also accept other people. And I feel like if you're with someone that wouldn't accept, because imagine like I could become disabled someday and my boyfriend would have to take care of me. So I would hope that he would be a good enough person to be open to anything. Like, I am open to anything if that were to happen to him. Obviously, like, God forbid, but anything is possible in the world. We could end up having a disabled child. One of us could become disabled. One of our family members could become disabled. There's so many things in the world that could happen. So I just feel like it's so important to pick a partner that is truly empathetic and truly caring. And I don't want to be with someone who's not going to accept something like that. Like, I want to be 100% with someone that I know is such a caring individual and would do anything. Okay, some comments. Good for you. My daughter is autistic and requires a lot of patience and understanding. I'd lose my mind if someone I knew treated her badly because of her extra needs. So how did he take it? I'm really curious to know. OOP said, it went pretty sour, but I expected it because he has a pretty short temper, which is crazy to admit because we're both part of the LDS church. A little context. So before officially breaking up on Saturday, we went out because I really wanted to get down to the root of the problem on why he was so disgusted by my sister. He started gaslighting me and making me feel like it was a me issue. That's when I knew it wasn't going to work. And on Sunday, I had him come over to my house and I told him that we're done. He started crying and apologizing, and then he turned into a hothead and demanded the ring back and everything that I owned that he bought for me. Crazy, right? Mind you, this happened at my parents' house where I'm currently living. They were already aware of his behavior when he demanded everything back and refused to leave my bedroom. I just texted my mom for help because it was the first time that he showed genuine rage at me, and I didn't want to get physically hurt. My dad, who's a retired cop, came up and told him to leave. Yuck. And then someone commented, well, to be fair, if he proposed to you, you should give him back his ring. OOP said, the ring I absolutely did give back, but clothes that I own and have worn multiple times, car keys that he had insisted to replace when I lost mine in the past, and other petty things like that I refused to just give back. And then someone said, totally fair, returning the ring shows respect, but keeping personal items you've used and were gifts makes sense. Not everything needs to be handed back out of spite. I mean, yeah, that's just weird. Like, what's your need for that? Like, what's the use of taking some sweatshirts that I own and stuff? What are you going to do with them? Donate them? It's just, they're being obviously petty and being super spiteful and bitter, obviously. The top comment says, for those wondering, no, you do not legally retain eternal ownership over items you willingly gave to someone else. I feel like the only time you like give stuff back is if you like, for when me and my ex broke up, one of my exes, I was just so upset. And I think I kind of just wanted to like, he broke up with me and I kind of just wanted to, I don't even know, make him feel sad, I guess. So I sent a box of everything that I had of his, like literally everything, which is so unnecessary, but I packed it all up in a box and sent it, and even like letters that he wrote me, just because I was like, I want you to open this and feel something. Like, I want you to feel like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like, I can't believe all of this stuff from our, like a memorabilia. That's how you pronounce that? A little memorabilia box, because I was like, no, I want him to be sad. I want him to open it and feel what I've been feeling for the past few weeks or the past month. Like, I've been so sad, so you need to feel this sadness. That was just me being petty.
If you want extra content weekly, head over to patreon.com/storytimesociety and become a member on there for extra content. Love you.
The title of the next story is, I, 24 female, want to break up with my magician boyfriend, 27 male, due to his inappropriate magic trick. My boyfriend, 27 male, and I, 24 female, have been together for 1 year and 3 months. Our relationship has been very loving, but has started to get bumpy ever since we moved in together for our 1 year anniversary. A little backstory, I'm in college right now, pursuing my master's degree in archaeology, while also working as a library clerk to earn money. Whereas my boyfriend works as a magician for parties and events. Despite our different career paths, I've never had a problem with his career choice because it makes him happy. He's always found a way to make every day magical, which has been sweet. About 9-ish months into our relationship, I had the opportunity to go on a 2-month archaeological excavation in another country for school. Despite us becoming long distance, he had no problem with me going and was very happy for me. He would send me gifts, letters, and he even sent things for my colleagues in order to brighten up their days. While we were doing long distance, we made plans to move into an apartment when I got back due to how much we missed each other. And a few days after I returned, we moved in together, which has been awful so far. Before living together, we would see each other a few times a week due to my busy schedule. But now that we live together, we see each other all the time. And he has started to do magic all the time. He will make my keys disappear as I'm trying to go to work or school. He tries to practice his card tricks on me while I'm doing homework. He makes the cleaning rag vanish when I ask him to clean. And he has recently done something that makes me want to end the relationship. I've never been in this serious of a relationship before, so I don't want to throw our loving relationship away just because of a few bad months. Last month, we were getting steamy and he went down on me, which isn't unusual. While he was going down on me, he was saying some dirty talk here and there. I was lost in the moment for obvious reasons, but I snapped out of it when he said, quote, "Oh, how did that get in there?" And I watched him pull a coin from my crotch. He found the coin moment hilarious, but it just took me out of the moment and instantly made me annoyed, so we stopped. Later, I told him that doing the magic in the bedroom made me literally dry up, so I asked him to keep that kind of magic out of the bedroom. He explained to me that he was trying to make me laugh and have fun, and he didn't want to apologize for it. I talked with some of my friends about it, and they thought it was funny, so I figured that I was just overreacting and needed to lighten up a bit. But he didn't do any magic tricks in the bedroom for the next few weeks. However, 4 days ago, when we were sleeping together and he suddenly started to yell, "Ow!" So I quickly got off of him and asked what was wrong. He tells me, "I think there's something in you. Let me check." I laid on the bed like I was at the goddamn gyno because I trusted that if something was wrong, then he would find it. After like 2 minutes, he says, "Oh, here it is." And I watched as he was pulling a long ribbon thing that kept going and going and going. It took a second for me to realize that it was one of his magic tools that he had purposely put in me while he was checking to see what he felt. He found it hilarious and couldn't stop laughing while he was pulling the string more and more. I ripped the thing out while doing it, and I yelled at him for doing another magic trick like that, even though I told him not to. He told me that he was just adding more fun to our sex life, and that he wanted to see what the magic trick would look like if it was coming out from a crotch. The original magic trick involves putting the coil thing in your own mouth and pulling it out of the plastic string for a while. I was pissed off, so I made him go stay at his parents' house for a few days. This morning, I talked with him some more, but he still thinks that it's not a big deal. I get that he's a magician and that he loves magic, but I'm still upset about him breaking that boundary I had set. I'm fine with his magic tricks 85% of the time, but sex is where I draw the line. I'm demisexual, so I need to have a strong, trusting, and close relationship with someone before I can even think about having sex with them. So him breaking my boundary has really hurt me, and I've lost my trust in him. However, everyone I have talked about the situation with says that what he did was hilarious, and I've been told by multiple people that I'm overreacting, which is why I decided to go to Reddit. We have built a strong relationship, and I really saw myself marrying him one day. I fully trusted him, and now I don't know if I ever can again. Should we break up, or can we fix this and stay together? I'm so lost, and I would appreciate any advice. Thanks. This is a new one. This is a new one for me. Like, how do I even navigate this? Obviously, if you're not okay with that, which I wouldn't fucking either, I'd be like, actually, please don't stick something up my crotch without my consent. Like, I didn't tell you you could do a magic trick by pulling ribbon out of my cooch. Like, that seems so nasty and unsanitary. I'm actually scared. How does he, if I told my friends that my boyfriend did that, they would be like, okay, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's funny because it's so crazy that it seems like fake. It seems like, what the hell is wrong with you? What would ever come through your mind to think that that was okay? If I told my friends that, they would never be like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Why are you mad? No, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's weird. That's so weird. Keep your profession out of my coochie? Confused. Comments. Someone said, the Alliance of Magicians is not going to be happy about this. Alliance-approved magicians would never pull something like this. The magic is gone. It's time for you to disappear. All right. We have an update, and it's 3 days later. First off, no. This story isn't AI or fake. It's sadly true, but I can understand why people would think that it's AI due to the absurdity of it. Secondly, thank you everyone for the advice in the comments of my previous post. I was lost and looking for some advice because of the uncomfortable situation, and people around me felt differently about it than I did. People in the comments were right, and I should trust my own feelings rather than searching for answers from the people around me. That's something that I've struggled with my whole life because my family is very reliant on each other, and my parents are both helicopter parents. So I learned from a young age that I couldn't trust my own instincts because other people know better. Which is why I asked my friends and mom about the situation. I have a lot more work to do in trusting myself, but at least I'm working on it now. Here's the update. After my previous post, I read through some of the comments and realized that what my boyfriend did would be considered assault. It wasn't something that I had even considered because I was only seeing it as him doing something stupid in the bedroom that broke my boundary and made me uncomfortable. But seeing those comments opened up my eyes a lot. If he was willing to break my boundary only after a year of dating and could do that to me in the bedroom, then what else could he be capable of? I met with him the next day at our apartment, and I told him about my feelings, which he didn't seem to care about. I showed him the Reddit post so that he could see that other people were also uncomfortable with what had happened. He read through your comments, but when he saw the word assault being used a few times, he got really aggravated. I had never seen him be that angry before, but he was screaming nonstop and even whipped my coffee mug across the room. I ended up crying because I was scared. And I think that snapped him back to reality or something, because he stopped yelling and was trying to comfort me. I made him leave our apartment again because I didn't want to be around him anymore. That night, my friends helped me pack up my stuff and they took me to my parents' house, which is where I am at now. After I was out of the apartment and safe, I called him and broke up with him over the phone because I didn't feel comfortable doing it in person after his previous reaction. I'm so upset that I wasted over a year of my life dating him and even thinking about a future with him. Thank you all for giving me the courage to follow my feelings and break up with him for good. I really appreciate it. Also, thank you for all the jokes. It's lightened the mood and has helped me feel a little bit better about this situation. Yes, as a grab, the magic is gone and it's time for me to disappear. What is as a grab? What does that mean? Oh, that's the person's username. That said, the magic is gone and it's time for you to disappear. I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with all like what everyone was saying. That's obviously something that's like, you literally shoved something in my coochie that I didn't ask for. Like, that's just crazy to me. And then to also knowing as well, like the first magic trick he pulled was like, okay, hey, can you not do that? Actually, that was really crazy. Didn't like that at all. And then he decides to do it again, which is even crazier because he knew that you didn't like it the first time. So I'm just confused as to what he thought was going to happen after that. Like, did he think that you were going to be like, oh, sexy? Yeah. No, that's crazy. Also, I feel like there's never wasted time in a relationship. Like, I don't really think that is even a thing, honestly, because especially when you're young, like you're learning so much and it's so much better to waste your time in a relationship and figure out what you don't want in a relationship, because otherwise, I don't know, the other option is find someone that you are just going to stay with forever, which most likely the first person that you're dating isn't going to be the person that you stay with forever. So I feel like it's good to always like gain that experience. And honestly, a year really is not a lot of time. A year is such a short amount of time. It sounds like such a long time, and I feel like we always think like, oh my god, a year, but like a year goes by so fast and so much happens like in a year, and it's such a short amount of time. But it's not even that much time to really get to know someone truly. Like, when I think about where me and my boyfriend were like in our first year of dating to where we are now, it's honestly so different. Like, and I thought that we were so close right when we started dating and right when we met, and that whole first year was just like so much getting to know each other. It was so much like honeymoon stage. It was so much just like being like serious but not serious, if that makes sense. Just being like cute little kids exploring, getting to know each other. And then obviously as the relationship goes on, like, not to say that it gets boring, but it gets more serious where you're thinking about like the future and thinking about if you really want to stay with this person, if this person really is someone you could see yourself with for the rest of your life. Like, it's still fun. I'm honestly love where I'm at in my relationship way more than I did in the first year, because now it's like a deep understanding of each other and like a deep love that we've grown and that we've built.
Storytime Society is now available on all listening platforms. If you are on any of those listening platforms, I would really appreciate it if you rated me 5 stars. Thanks for all the support.
Some comments. Don't be upset about wasting your time on someone. You're young and it was a year. These wasted times are so pivotal to us as adults. What you got from that relationship is a spine. You stood on your own 2 feet and said not once but twice, this is an acceptable way to treat me and it's not okay. This is a tool you will use for the rest of your life in many types of relationships. Don't feel sad, feel empowered. Yes, you learned an important lesson, OP. And you can just be thankful that it's over now. Don't be too hard on yourself. So true. I agree. There's nothing more important than going through situations to learn and gain wisdom. And obviously there's so many things that you go through growing up. Also, yeah, being a 24-year-old, like 24 is so young. Even 27 is so young. Like, I always I feel like I'm so old. I'm like, oh, I'm so old. I'm like a wise little owl. But no, I'm not. Like, so much is going to happen in my life that hasn't happened yet, and Obviously, I feel like at every point in your life, you kind of feel like you're so wise and intelligent. Because even when I was like 24, I was like, wow, I'm so old. Like, I know so much. I've been through so much. But then when I look back at that, like, time of my life when I was 24, I'm like, girl, you were not old and wise and intelligent. Like, calm down. I think also as I get older, I am more appreciative of the experiences that I've had growing up, and even just like in my early 20s, there's nothing that I regret, even if it was a moment that I was like so embarrassed or that I was so ashamed in at the time. Not like anything super serious, but I don't know, like little mistakes that you make in your early 20s that you think about for so long and you're like, oh, this was terrible. And you just like, I personally ruminate over things a lot and overthink so much all the time, especially in my early 20s. And while I was figuring myself out and just like being an embarrassing person sometimes. And now I look back at those embarrassing moments that I like was literally losing my mind over. And I'm like, no, I'm so glad that happened. I'm so glad this happened. It made me who I am today. And I feel like the more experiences, the better. The title of the next story is, Am I the asshole for giving my wife an ultimatum on her male best friend due to what he did before our wedding years ago? My wife and I have been married for about 5 years, and something I learned from her male friend's girlfriend was that he confessed his love to my wife the night before. She told me they got into a fight about this and figured I should know. So I confronted my wife about this, and she admitted it. I yelled at her and asked how the F she could keep this from me and how the F she thought it was appropriate to have him at our wedding. She told me she didn't want to ruin our wedding day, and I told her that she's not stupid enough to not know that I'd want to know this information. See, this male friend always made me uneasy from the start. She told me she has no feelings for him. After this, I don't know if I trust her. I told her that even if she wants me to consider staying with her, she needs to cut off her friend. Top comment says, OP, I had something similar happen to me with my female friend a week before my wedding. She told me she loved me and sent me nudes of herself. My mom didn't raise no fool, though. I told my wife right away. I'm sure if I would have tried to hide something like that, I probably would be divorced today. This friend was known to hang out with both my wife and me quite a bit. Been married 13 years now, and yes, my wife had me go no contact with this ex-friend. I completely agree. I don't see why you wouldn't tell your partner that if there wasn't something in your head that was like, because if someone's going to disrespect your relationship like that and someone that you consider a friend, I don't think they're your friend anymore. Even if it's just like, if it's such a long friendship that you've had. I've had a friend, like a male friend, since I was in like 7th or 8th grade that I'm still friends with to this day. And if he did something like that, I would 100% tell my boyfriend or whatever, like my fiance, if it was my fiance at the time. And I would be like, let me know what you think about this. Obviously, I feel like it's going to be awkward now because like he just confessed his love to me. Why would I wouldn't even want him at my wedding. I'm like, that's just weird to be, because then it's like the friendship's kind of ruined after that. It's like, I don't really know how we can go on being friends when now I know that you have feelings for me and you love me and I'm getting married. And it's like, why didn't you just keep that to yourself? I feel like you should have just kept that to yourself because I'm getting married tomorrow and like having a wedding and it's supposed to be like an amazing day and you're kind of ruining that for me, to be honest. All right, a very downvoted comment says, you're the asshole. Not so much for the ultimatum, then for the concept of not trusting your wife at all. If you don't trust her even after 5 years of marriage, you never will. OOP replied, she lied to me. She knows fully well that this is something I'd want to know. Of course I'm not trusting her right now. Another downvoted comment says, she didn't stop the wedding. You won. She married you. Why would she ruin the wedding over someone else's feelings that she didn't share? And why are you so upset about it 5 years later? Come on, move on. OOP said, because she still hangs out with this guy at least once a week. 100%. I don't understand these comments, actually. I don't understand them at all because I don't agree with them. I agree with OOP. Are you kidding? This person still is... You're still seeing this guy after he said that he's in love with you before you got married. knowing what that would do if she were to like reciprocate those feelings. Obviously he was wanting that to happen. Like he was wanting something to happen. He was wanting to have her not marry this guy. And she's hanging out with him once a week. That sounds real sketch. Real sketch. And then the same commenter said, he has a girlfriend. He's moved on. He's obviously not pining away for her. I understand you would be upset, but considering it was 5 years ago and she's still with you, not him, sounds like everyone has moved on, as adults do. Is this him? Is this him commenting? Like, he's like in this fucking Reddit post, he's like, oh my God, I gotta stick up for this guy because I gotta stick up for myself as like a fake account or something. OOP replied, ex-girlfriend. She literally told me they had a fight over this because he's still obsessed with my wife. No. Nor. Update. We are currently separated and I'm in the process of divorcing my wife. Honestly, her hesitation of making a choice was too much for me. Just the fact that she needed so long to cut this guy out after he crossed the line and that she has so much trouble making it right for me speaks volumes to me. When I told her this and that I was leaving her, she tried to convince me and say she will cut him off. I told her it was too late at that point. I told her I don't trust her. I don't want to be with her. I don't want to deal with her again. I've been staying with a friend right now. One thing I want to address about my last post that kept coming up, some of you said, quote, he's over her. He has a girlfriend. And I gotta say, you must be actually brain dead or can't read. His ex-girlfriend literally told me they got into a fight about this because he wasn't over my wife. That's literally why I found out, because his ex told me about it. His girlfriend was another person caught up with this shit. Yeah. The top comment is responding to him saying, honestly, her hesitation of making a choice was too much for me. And they said, wow, I get it. What the F was there to hesitate about? Hope you're doing okay. OP, this is a lot. And then there's an edit and it says, added comments from the original post where OOP explains that the friend's girlfriend had broken up with the friend by the time he found out about the confession. No, that's actually awful. Because I would get it if it was like you're asking me to cut off my friend for no reason, but this is a big, big, big thing in a relationship, and it's 100%. I would have no hesitation. I'd be like, yeah, absolutely. I agree. But I probably would have already cut him off, and I would have already told him, like, this would never even be a situation that I would be in, because I think it's so stupid to hide something that big from, you wouldn't want, if it was the situation reversed, I can imagine 100% that OP's wife would be feeling the same way. If her husband hid this from her, she would also be like, what the fuck? That's crazy. You better be choosing me over her, and I don't want you to talk to her anymore. And the fact that you lied to me about that is crazy. So now, like, I'm giving you this chance to prove that you aren't going to choose this person over me after lying to me for years about this. I agree. And I don't think that you're an asshole. I would do the same thing. I would feel the same way. I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling that way. Okay, we're going to move on to the advice segment of this podcast. If you want unprofessional, let me just say unprofessional, guys. I say that every time because obviously I'm not a professional. We all know this. I think if you watch my videos, you can tell I'm not a fucking professional. Like, and I'm not going to, I try not to give like I try not to be crazy about the advice that I give, but I'm only saying this because I got a comment that was like, you should cut the advice segment because you're not licensed and it's a liability. What? I don't think it's illegal to give advice, especially I'm not giving medical advice. I'm not giving legal advice. Like, I'm just giving advice, and I don't know. It was so stupid, but I like the advice segment. I like being able to read your guys' stories and connect with you guys. And obviously if I'm not a fucking professional, and I make it known that I'm not a professional, and I'm not telling you guys, oh guys, go do this right now. And like, you know what I mean? I'm not trying, like, I try not to give problematic advice to be crazy about it. I try to be pretty like neutral and try to, obviously if it's something legal, I'm not going to be like, oh, you should go, I don't know what even example to use. Anyways, let's just move on. There is a Google form in the description below. I also have a Google Voice, which I'll put in the description as well. so that if you want to call and leave me a voicemail, that is always fun. We've done like 2 so far, which I really like. And obviously, if you want your voice distorted, just say you want your voice distorted. I did that for the last caller. Okay, this says, "Hi, Jamie. I need some advice and thought about going to Reddit, but I'm too scared of people recognizing my story if I write on something so mainstream. I'm 23 female and my husband is 25 male. I know we are sort of young to be married, so we've been married for about a year, and the whole time we were dating, engaged, wedding planning, through the wedding, throughout our entire relationship, my sister has had the hots for my husband. She's always had a very bold personality and is not afraid of making jokes that raise some eyebrows, but I can't tell if I'm overreacting due to my own insecurities. If I am, feel free to be as blunt as you can. I just need perspective from others. I'll give you a few examples of times that I felt very uncomfortable with the situation. Firstly, she always dresses different and more provocative if we're around. She makes sure she looks her best, never wants him to see her looking less than perfect. While my husband and I were dating, my sisters were dropping me off with my husband, and the sister I'm referring to was checking herself in the mirror, making sure she looked cute before we saw him, then waved at my husband. He waved back, and she got all giggly and was like, "OMG, he wants me." While we were engaged, we were playing a game with my family. I was sitting next to my husband, and I was a bit annoyed because I hadn't wanted to play the game. I'm just not big on games. But my dad had told me in an irritated tone to just play, so I did. My sister was staring at my husband the whole time with sparkling eyes, and every time anything funny happened, they immediately looked to each other and held eye contact while busting up laughing. It felt like they had some sort of inside joke, and to me, it seemed flirty. I was sitting there feeling like I was third wheeling my own husband. I tried to push it down for months, not knowing if I was just being overly jealous, but I brought it up last night after seeing something that reminded me of it. My husband explained himself by saying that I was mad and sitting off to the side, not playing the game, so that's why he was looking to her. I was playing, and I was sitting at the table directly next to him. It feels like I was some sort of background character in his memory after he tried to explain it away. It just made me feel worse. Am I being crazy? Is this weird? He swears he has no attraction towards her, but it messes with my head so much. I love him and I love my sister, but it makes me not want to be around her. Even more makes me not want them to be around each other. My sister is 18, but she's always liked older guys, currently dating a 30-year-old. And I worry that he likes the attention, or maybe it puts weird thoughts into his mind. I feel so disrespected by my sister, and the thought of him feeling any sort of way about her makes me sick. I'm sorry if this is really long. We had a big fight about it last night, and it didn't really resolve. It made it so much worse to hear his side of it, learning that to him, I was hardly even there. If any listeners have anything to say, I will be reading the comments as well. Thank you. I definitely think that you should be able to be open and honest about this with your husband. Like, I think that right when it became a worry for you, you should have been able to be open about it and been like, hey, I actually feel a little bit weird about this. And then, like, you guys should be able to have a mature, open and honest discussion about it. That's like such a big thing in a relationship. Obviously, I'm not the queen of relationships. I'm not the fucking expert of relationships, but I do feel like communication is just such an obvious, like, important thing in a relationship. And if you guys can't truly have like a mature conversation about something without getting heated or having it turn into like a true argument, I think that is like definitely a red flag and probably means something. I wouldn't say that means that he's like in love with your sister anymore. Does he maybe like the attention? Yes, that could be a possibility, especially because she's obviously so interested in him, and like it seems from the way that you're explaining it that it's so obvious that she has the hots for him and that she's like kind of obsessed with him. So maybe he's just like, oh, you know, she has like a little girl, like a schoolgirl crush on me, and that's cute, whatever. He's gonna be nice to her, obviously. I wouldn't expect him to like ignore her because that's your sister. He should be friendly to your sister. But yeah, I do think that immediately after that happened and you were feeling that way, I definitely don't think, which obviously you can't go back now about it, so I'm not trying to like blame you or anything. It's obviously not your fault, but the fact that you felt that way you should have felt safe and comfortable to have an open and honest relationship, especially with your husband, about it. And then it could have just been like put to bed after that and you could have felt better about it. But I don't think you're being crazy. I don't think that you're overreacting. I think the way that you feel is valid and it totally makes sense. And even if it is because of your insecurities, it should still be a conversation that you guys have. And then you can realize, like, oh, you're right. Like, this is because of I was insecure about that. But I do think if you can't trust your husband and knowing that he truly isn't like interested in your sister at all, that's probably a bit of a red flag, because you should be, especially because you guys are married, you should be able to trust him fully, and especially with something that's involving your sister, if that makes sense. I can understand like his point of being like, you were mad, you didn't want to play the game, you didn't seem interested because you said that like you weren't really into playing the game and that you were in a kind of a bad mood or annoyed or whatever about playing the game. So I kind of get him saying like that you weren't really into it, and so he felt like he wanted to kind of connect with your sister at that point. But I don't know. I don't think that you're overreacting. The biggest thing here that I'm like really, that is coming to me when I'm reading this story is that the communication between you and your husband, you should feel comfortable going to him about things like that right away, about things that bother you, and come up and just be like putting it to bed sooner rather than later. Otherwise, you build that up in your head and you come up with scenarios in your head. At least I know that's what I do if I'm like worried about something and I don't talk to the person about it and be able to like truly see what's going on right when the situation happens. I'll come up with things in my head and it will just make it so much worse, and I'll put this whole narrative in my head and make up this whole situation in my head. But at that point, it's like something that I know that I'm doing and I'm like self-sabotaging. Usually I can tell like the distinct difference between what's real and what's not. I hope that you guys end up resolving it. I think that it's definitely a bad sign if he's not able to resolve it with you. I think that you guys should be able to be having these conversations, and he shouldn't be getting mad and he shouldn't be getting defensive about it. It doesn't seem like a healthy thing to do in a relationship. Yeah, obviously if anyone else has any advice for this person, she said she's going to be reading the comments. Just remember to be kind about it. Maybe someone else has a better experience or better advice than I do, because I'm not really sure, honestly, like what I would do. I think if this were my relationship and it were me talking to my boyfriend, there are like a little bit, I would 100% have gone to him right away and been like, hey, this was kind of uncomfortable for me, and I feel like you definitely were flirting or you liked the attention and it kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. And the way that he would respond to that would definitely be telling. So I hope that helps, and I hope that some people in the comments can help as much as possible. Obviously, again, remember to be kind, because if you're not, I'm going to either delete your comment or you won't be watching this show, because we want to be kind here. We want to be kind people. Be kind to me, be kind to others, be kind to the advice segment, and I won't accept anything less, because I don't want this community and I don't want the vibe of this show to be ever hateful, and I don't want anyone to ever feel uncomfortable about coming to my advice form I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable about coming to my advice form to ask for advice because they're scared of what the comments are going to say or that people are going to be rude to them in the comments. So I'll never allow that to happen. And if you are going to make hate comments, you will be blocked. But I love you guys. Obviously, that only applies to like literally 1% of the viewers. Everyone else is so amazing, and I couldn't ask for a better community, and I'm so thankful for you guys, and I literally appreciate every single person watching. You obviously like are supporting my life, you're supporting me, and it means a lot to me. So I love you guys, and thank you so much for being involved and commenting and watching and liking and subscribing. I am so thankful for you. Thank you so much. Love you. Am I okay? No. Okay. Bye. Love you.
my merch is out. Yeah, but this is it. And this comes in pink, black, and white. If you want to get a little cute piece of merch, go grab one. Link is in the description to purchase.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.